Coming up tonight on Fifth Third Business Beat, millions of development dollars are coming to Price Hill. A local company does damage control for businesses hit by database breaches. What's the prognosis for a small local hospital now that a newer facility is being built only a few miles away? Business Courier reporter James Ritchie has a story about plans that are changing for Deaconess Hospital. See one simple way your business can go green. Neil and Alan Hendy of Neil's Design and Remodel talk with John Spencer in this week's Gehring Center report. Jeff Weiler of the Jeff Weiler Automotive family shares his thoughts on the government bailout of the big three automakers. David Ginsburg of Downtown Cincinnati Incorporated tells us how downtown retailers and restaurants fared this holiday season. And Dan Dugan, CEO of Dugan & Myers Construction, joins Doug Bolton for this week's Publishers Beat.
Fifth Third Business Beat is brought to you in part by Fifth Third Bank, Cincinnati Bell, and Cincinnati United Contractors.
Hello and Happy New Year. I'm Brian Patrick. Welcome to Fifth Third Business Beat for Friday, January 2nd, 2009. On page 1 of the Business Courier this week, efforts are on schedule to redevelop part of Price Hill. Ground should be broken for the $40 million development in early March. Incline Square is being developed near Queens Tower on Matson Place and West 8th Street. Developers have a model of the proposed development that shows all of the elements that will be built in phases. The first phase is a $6 million medical office building that will be run by the Health Alliance and doctors from Greater Cincinnati Associated Physicians. This will bring in nurses, doctors, and developers hope momentum for the rest of the project.
It's their commitment that is going to make this vision of turning the area around the Queens Tower and Incline Square and Price Hill into a mixed-use, pedestrian-friendly urban village that'll be as exciting as Mount Adams, Covington, and Newport.
A hillside restaurant and residential units will follow in later phases. The project got its name from the old incline that ran from West 8th Street straight up Price Hill. The tracks are still there and developers hope to show them off. They also expect to introduce the view of the city that Price Hill offers to new home buyers.
Well, I spent most of my life in Price Hill, and it's a great proximity to downtown, great architecture, great parks, but desperately in need of new investment. So this will be the spark that we hope will be the catalyst for positive change for Price Hill and the whole West Side.
The project is expected to take 5 to 10 years to complete. An Erlanger company is launching a service to help businesses deal with identity theft and database breaches. And Trust America wants to be the company others call on to do damage control. CEO Ken Stahl says that many times companies don't try to address the problem until it's too late.
We provide an outsourced 800 number so the company doesn't have to field all the calls. We'll actually monitor all those victims' identities to make sure that if anything does happen to their personal identity, that we're there to remedy or mitigate the damages.
A Federal Trade Commission survey in 2006 showed $15.6 billion in annual losses tied to identity theft. A community hospital that's faced challenges now finds itself facing competition. Fort Hamilton Hospital has survived because it has a loyal patient base and is part of the Health Alliance. The top executive at the hospital says the Health Alliance provides the stability to get through the tough periods like the fourth quarter of this year. Soon, a new full-service hospital only about 10 miles from Fort Hamilton is expected to open. How it will impact Fort Hamilton isn't known yet.
We have a huge loyalty from our local people in our community. So we'd like to have a broader reach, and with the new programs we're instituting, we're beginning to see a broader reach.
Fort Hamilton Hospital is working with a strategic planner to see what its possibilities might be. But Oswald thinks there is enough business for everybody. Back to the front page of this week's Business Courier, a story by James Ritchie on another hospital facing a huge challenge in 2009, Deaconess Hospital. The plan was for the hospital to become physician-owned, But it looks like that's not going to happen now. James, why the change in plans?
Originally, Deaconess wanted to make 40% of the hospital physician-owned, and Deaconess Associations, Inc., which is Deaconess's parent company, would have continued to hold on to 60%. But Deaconess needed about 100 physicians to sign on to the idea. Unfortunately, they only got about 30, so it's just not enough.
Do you know at all why the doctors were reluctant to sign on?
It might be the economy. Like anything else, people are reluctant to spend and invest. It might have just been that they didn't like the idea. The idea is kind of unique. I think this would have been the only structure of this sort in Ohio, so maybe they thought the investment was too risky.
How bad are things for Deaconess? How much money is this hospital losing?
In 2007, which is the latest year for which we have figures, they lost about $10 million.
That's serious. What do you think will happen to Deaconess now?
That's hard to say. As one spokeswoman told me, people have been saying for the last 20 years or so, will Deaconess stay open? Will Deaconess close? But they say they're open to new ideas and they're still trying to figure out a new direction.
Thanks a lot, James Ritchie. Be sure to read James' story on the front page of this week's Business Courier. Here's the Courier Greater Cincinnati Stock Index, tracking the performance of about 40 local stocks compared with the broader market using the Dow Jones Wilshire 5000 Index. The market inched up last week as the local index rose about 0.5%. The overall market climbed about 0.2%. Businesses everywhere are exploring ways to go green. One simple way is to buy new paper cups for the break room. Patricia McGeever tells us how the cups can serve two purposes.
A change in how you drink your coffee could benefit those who can't see, as well as help the environment. These paper hot cups are biodegradable and compostable, and they're made by workers at the Clovernook Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired. It all started with a request from the United States Navy.
Yeah, the Navy had this problem of having all of these cups that are used on aircraft carriers and their fleet of ships, how to dispose of them in a environmentally responsible way, and so being able to toss them overboard was, definitely an advantage. We worked with the U.S. government. We worked with various researchers and technology to develop the cup paper, which is a chlorine-free, biodegrading paper that, when it's in salt water, begins to degrade after about 30 minutes. And then it degrades totally in 30 to 60 days. So there's no damage to the marine environment.
Today, Clovernook's Memphis facility makes cups for 230 customers. Macalester College in Minnesota uses the cups on its campus. So do concession stands at the Statue of Liberty. Sales of the cups generated $1 million in revenue last year. That money goes back into programs and services for the blind and visually impaired.
We help people learn basic skills of daily living, have access to computer technology, all the things that help someone to be as independent as they want to be.
I went from having a different lifestyle, being an executive in a company, to basically falling on my face, becoming visually impaired. And I believe probably the main thing with me is the services that Clovernook was able to provide. Gave me the confidence to know that I was still the same person, that I could truly make a difference for the people here.
Clovernook expects its cup business to grow, especially commercially. Specialty stores now carry the cups in packages like these.
Clovernook is working on developing earth-friendly lids for these cups. They've already developed these reusable cork sleeves.
The cork is harvested from trees in a way that the tree isn't harmed and continues to grow.
We have no ceiling on our growth. We're really not utilizing the full capacity of our equipment now. So our hope for this coming year is to be able to perhaps double our output, because we certainly have the capacity to do that.